Are you thinking of joining the next cohort? Hello, I am Ingrid Pope, the Mind Declutterer, and welcome to a short video about my flagship 3-month, 6-module course, Break Through Your Clutter. This program will not only explain the background to why paying attention to your clutter matters, but also teach you a simple step-by-step guide to creating space for what you really wish for. But don't just take my word for it. Hear from some previous participants to discover their stories, how the program helped them, and what it will do for you. Maybe we could start with what led you to joining the program in the first place.
You were offering something I'd not seen before, and something that's quite different, and something that I thought, oh, this is interesting.
I was in a very, very busy job, which I really wanted to move on from. I was in danger of sort of overloading myself with doing too much for everybody without really having the space to think about, okay, what's really important to me and where do I move on to? So I didn't really know sort of how to create that pathway to get out of, being really busy to being something that's much more intentional.
Before the program, my view of clutter was solely physical clutter stuff, but I was also actually starting to empty nest, children going, thinking about finding space and having whole rooms in my house full of stuff for people, namely children, who didn't live here, and feeling it was really overwhelming because I obviously had to fix it all. And instead I just shut the doors and ignored it. So it felt huge and overwhelming, and I didn't quite know where to start.
And so what was your experience of the program?
It was a very interesting program in terms of the content, in terms of how our brains work, thinking about the different aspects of our life in terms of where things can become cluttered or too busy.
For me, I really enjoyed the mixture of things. So I liked being able to read and work on my own, completely on my own, in my time when it suited me. And I also liked joining with the group and learning about what their experiences were.
It was really well paced. It logically fitted with how my brain works. And it was like, it was really good to know that other people have the same challenges. It was really interesting to get below the surface issues and beliefs and actually work out what some of the drivers were.
Doing it on my own is great, but then when you kind of speak it out, you can see I'm using my hands. When you kind of get it out there, I think it adds a level to it, and the next level of realization, and the next level of actually, what am I going to do with it now? Not just on my own. Okay, yeah, I'll do that, and then I don't. So I think it added something because there's a commitment there, and also that deeper learning that's done in the shared group. Although it wasn't always having to share.
For me, what really worked was the fact that it was over a period of weeks, so the ability to have some learning, some discussion, and then understanding some practical things that could be applied, and then coming back the next week to sort of feed back on that and to reflect on that, and then that helps to embed it much more.
And then there were other people on the program. Through the conversations, we're like, I'm not the only insane person who's slightly embarrassed with how much I've got in my loft. In fact, there are more people who are worse than I am. That was encouraging. And then having a laugh and an experience about it. So it was a combination of things: the structure, the process, getting underneath it, actually having fun with it, and creating some successes. I still remember my first one, my airing cupboard, which is still tidy. X number of years later.
And what was your biggest takeaway?
We moved house in 2012, and then we moved house again in 2024. When we moved in 2012, we literally took what was in our loft into our new loft. And then for 12 years, it sat there, and it sat like a load of resentment above my head.
Ooh.
And I realized that I was really angry because the things hadn't been packed up properly from the first move, and they sat in this loft, and every time I thought about it, it was literally this weight over my head. And I realized how angry I was about being in that situation and not able to do it myself because I couldn't lift some of the boxes down myself. So it was really, and I kind of, what it really did for me was that physical clutter. It's much more than physical clutter. You can see it kind of, it's real. And then I was able to have a better conversation with my husband, who is amazing, but had no incentive to do it until I was able to articulate, hang on, we're going to move house again. And he was able to equally articulate, because I was ready to listen, what's the issue for him? Because I would have gone up there and tried to do it all in one hit. Whereas he explained to me, actually, I can't cope with that. So that's why I don't want to even start. Mm. And then we just began this wonderful process together of agreeing how many boxes we'd get down. And then we'd sort them. And then we'd put them to charity shop, to the recycling centre, or rebox them, but keep them out of the loft, ready to move.
I'm now working for myself, and it's given me tools. The course has given me tools in terms of thinking about what I do. Now I've got more time to myself to do things that I really want to do. It's helped me to really analyse opportunities and think, yes, that's right for me, or that's not right for me.
The other example I want to give is the breakthrough I had when I realised that I have an unhealthy relationship with money. Mm. And that was fascinating to realise that. And it was towards the end of the programme, actually. And I remember it really well because I kept avoiding that session and not doing that work. And kind of not wanting to voice it at all, because it came with shame and embarrassment and all sorts of things. And then I remember kind of, right, okay, you got to deal with this, and having a wonderful conversation with you that just completely liberated me. And that wasn't about physical clutter, that was about emotional and mental clutter, because again, it plays on your mind. So I think these things are really connected, and it's identifying them. And I didn't even know I had that going on for me about the money.
And then what is the long-term effect for you at this point of what you've learned?
Next big project is going to be downsizing for us, hubby and I. And actually that mindset of connecting what these things mean versus having to keep them, and memories, and storing them, and emotions, and having those conversations as opposed to discussing the symptom and getting to the bottom of it is actually really useful. So we're kind of planning much more heartfully what we're doing and why, and then having different conversations about what we keep and why, and what we want to be doing. So I think there's a bigger frame that honors the emotional context, the physical stuff, the stories, the memories, and then goes, well, given that, what do you want to do now? So it's kind of interesting. It's given a framework that's much healthier, I think.
Right, the clutter, physical clutter thing has transformed my relationship with my husband. He comes willingly when we've got the time, and we do it, and we book the tip run in advance. We go via the charity shop. It's great. We have a whole routine of how do we deal with stuff that we haven't yet processed.
It's about being much more focused. I've only got a finite pot of time, so what can I do with that time to best effect, really? So that's really what's stayed with me. I mean, there were practical things as we were doing the course in terms of attending it online and in my sort of workspace, if you like, at home, when I was on the calls, thinking about how cluttered my workspace was. So that led me, after one of the calls, to say, right, okay, I'm going to now make some time to clean this up. I've been looking at the home and thinking about stuff that I don't really pick up and look at anymore. And I've been getting rid of things in the home because they're just taking up space unnecessarily. So, and that's generated a bit of income for me, so there's all those sorts of opportunities and things that I've learned that I'm still using today.
My mum's been dead now, it'll be 20 years this year. And I finally last year put to a charity shop her coat that neither my sister or I had worn for 19 years, but it was a beautiful coat. And I thought, I can give that to someone else and give it with love. I don't have to keep it. It doesn't, and it was a big coat. It was able to do things like that I would never have been able to do beforehand. And that's huge. That's huge. And the lasting effect as well, I make better decisions about finances. Okay. Not perfect, but it's better. And I know I'm thinking about it. I'm making wiser choices and noticing impact. And it's not, I no longer have sleepless nights about it. Why is it easier to let go of things and easier to deal with the things that you have to live with?
The uncluttering mindset is something that's going to stay with me. So I think, is an incredibly valuable way of looking at your environment, both externally and internally as well. What your course offers is a real way of applying that sort of lens to life and work, which I think, the approach you take really does embed the learning in people that come onto the course.
For such big stuff, because some of this stuff is very big, and some of the things are actually about emotion and relationships and making meaning of things. They're big things, but actually they can be talked about joyfully, humorously, lightly, managed in a group of people who are also struggling with similar or different but related stuff. Actually can be really fun. And last, as my airing cupboard attests, not that anyone ever sees my airing cupboard, but I know it's there. So it can be done in a way that's interesting, useful, fun, but works.
I'm going to get emotional now. Just thank you. I mean that. Thank you so much. You brought something genuinely new and different. And that's, again, opened up another avenue for me to help me work on challenges, better conversations, better relationships. So, yeah, a big thank you. Don't stop doing your program. Oh, and I was thinking, actually, I think I might like to do it again sometime, because I think there'll be other layers, things I missed the first time round. And I think sometimes revisiting things can be really useful, because you go, oh, I learned that where am I now? What's next? Yeah, I did think that. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. I look forward to welcoming you in one of the next cohorts. See you soon!